the world has been struck with a wave of grief as the funeral of Robert Redford, one of Hollywood's most legendary actors and filmmakers, has been officially announced. Family, friends, and fans across the globe prepare to say their final goodbyes to a man whose presence shaped the golden age of cinema and whose impact reached far beyond the silver screen. The announcement of his funeral is not just a marker of an ending, but a moment of reflection. An invitation to celebrate the extraordinary journey of a man who gave the world art, truth, and unforgettable storytelling. Robert Redford's life was not defined solely by his fame, but by the warmth of his humanity. From his humble beginnings to becoming a global icon, Redford's story is one of perseverance, vision, and deep compassion. Today, as we remember him, we are not only mourning the loss of an actor, but cherishing the soul of an artist, activist, and dreamer. Born Charles Robert Redford Jr. on August 18, 1936 in Santa Monica, California, Robert grew up in a working-class family that instilled values of honesty, humility, and resilience. His father worked as a milkman and later in the oil industry, while his mother nurtured his creative spirit. Life was never simple for young Robert. He faced struggles in school and battled with directionlessness in his early years. But what he did possess was imagination, an inner fire that allowed him to see life beyond limitations. His passion for painting took him to Europe, and those formative years abroad would shape the way he saw the world, giving him an artist's eye and a storyteller's heart. When Redford turned to acting, Hollywood was not ready for what he would bring. He wasn't just another handsome face. He was raw talent, a man with depth and sincerity. His early television appearances led him to Broadway, where he starred in Barefoot in the Park. Soon, the film world came calling. The 1960s and 70s would crown him as one of Hollywood's brightest stars. With films like Butch Cassidy and The Sundance Kid, 1969, alongside Paul Newman, and The Sting, 1973, he captured the hearts of millions. His charm wasn't just in his looks, it was in his authenticity. Audiences connected with Redford because he brought humanity to every role. Redford wasn't satisfied with just being a star. He wanted to tell stories his way. In 1980, he directed Ordinary People, a film that won him the Academy Award for Best Director. It was proof that his artistry wasn't limited to acting. He could guide emotions, narratives, and truth from behind the lens. But perhaps one of his greatest contributions was founding the Sundance Film Festival, a platform that became a lifeline for independent filmmakers. Redford believed in giving voices to those who were overlooked, in shining a light on stories that Hollywood often ignored. Sundance wasn't just a festival, it was a movement, one that changed cinema forever. Robert Redford was more than the roles he played. He was an environmentalist, a political activist, and a man deeply committed to justice. Long before it became fashionable, Redford spoke openly about the need to protect the planet. His voice, calm yet powerful, carried a sincerity that inspired generations to fight for the Earth's survival. He was never afraid to speak truth to power. His activism often put him at odds with those who preferred silence, but Redford chose integrity over comfort. For him, life was not about fame. It was about making a difference. Behind the fame, Robert Redford was a deeply private man. He experienced profound loss, including the heartbreaking death of his infant son, Scott. These moments of sorrow shaped his empathy and the way he connected with the world. Despite his struggles, Redford found strength in family, love, and creativity. He cherished his role as a father and grandfather, and those close to him knew him not as the Hollywood legend, but as the man who valued honesty, warmth, and laughter above all else. Robert Redford's passing leaves an unfillable void, but his spirit lives on. His films, his art, his activism, they remain eternal. Every time a young filmmaker debuts their first feature at Sundance, every time a viewer is moved by All the President's Men or The Natural, every time someone takes up the cause of protecting the environment, Robert Redford lives again. He showed us that cinema is not just entertainment. It is a mirror of humanity. He showed us that fame can be used for good, and that life's greatest reward is not applause, but the legacy we leave behind. As the world prepares for Robert Redford's funeral, there will be tears, there will be silence, and there will be love. Across the globe, voices will echo the same truth. Robert Redford was more than a star. He was a light. The curtain may fall, but the performance of his life will never fade. We will continue to walk in the paths he opened, to cherish the stories he gave us, and to carry forward the compassion he showed. Farewell, Robert Redford. The stage is darker without you. But the world is brighter because you were here,